Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be talking about a problem that I've been having with Sentai in recent years, and that's the anniversary oversaturation. So I'll just talk about the history of anniversaries in Sentai in general at first, then go into more of my problems I have with the recent seasons. So without further ado, in this video I'm going to talk about the oversaturation of anniversary elements in Sentai in recent years. So as far as I can tell, Sentai has been commemorating anniversaries as long as it's been around. Turbo Ranger was technically the 10th anniversary when Go Ranger and Jacko weren't considered part of Super Sentai. I think when most people think of the first anniversary, it's O Ranger, which is the 20th series, not the 20th year, because Go Ranger aired for 3 seasons, and it commemorated the 20th series after Jacko and Go Ranger were retroactively added to be part of the Super Sentai series. And it didn't really have any anniversary aspects as we know today. It was pretty much just like commemorates it as a 20th anniversary, and that's pretty much it. I know there was more plans for the season as a whole, but when the subway attacks happened in Japan that year, they changed direction. So it's not an anniversary season as we would know it today. Fast forward to Gao Ranger in 2001, which was the 25th series, and this is the first time where I feel like an anniversary thing where we got a piece of media out of it, and that was Gao Ranger vs. Super Sentai, which was a crossover between Gao Ranger and a couple of Rangers from previous seasons, which is a decent movie, but a little bit underwhelming, especially when you compare it to Power Rangers got that year with Forever Red. The season itself didn't really have any anniversary aspects, but we still got a movie to commemorate that, which I think was a pretty good move. And then 5 years later with Bokenger, they pretty much did the exact same thing. They added a little bit more anniversary aspects into Bokenger itself, but it was mostly just aesthetic and Easter eggs, with some of the monsters' designs being based off of past mecha, like Ruan with Daijujin. And they also had Bokenger vs. Super Sentai, very similar to Gao Ranger vs. Super Sentai. I think it's a better movie, but very similar in that the Bokengers team up with previous seasons' heroes, and that's pretty much all the anniversary stuff we would get. Then comes Gokaiger with the 35th anniversary, which kind of opened up the floodgates because it was such a grand celebration of Super Sentai as a whole, with the season itself actually being entirely built around the anniversary aspect, the first season to do so. And I really think it spoiled us because of how good a season it was and how well it connected the anniversary aspect with a really good story and good characters. Just how it celebrated the spirit of Super Sentai as a whole, and how if you take out the anniversary aspect from Gokaiger, it would still be a good show, but it wouldn't be as good as it was now because of how well they combined fan servicey cameos and stuff with having the Gokaigers go through an arc about accepting themselves as the 35th Sentai. I think that was the absolute best way they could have handled it. Not to mention, you got Gokaiger Goseiger 199 Heroes, which is one of the best Super Sentai movies. So just as a celebration of Super Sentai as a whole, Gokaiger was easily the best and kind of set the standard for what an anniversary could be from then on. So since Gao Ranger, they set a standard for celebrating an anniversary every 5 years, and since Gokaiger, to me at least, it felt like they were setting up to do a little more grander stuff every 10 years after Gokaiger. And that's kind of what happened with Zyuohger 5 years after Gokaiger. It is an anniversary season, but like Bokenger, it's more aesthetic. Like when it comes to the suits, like Jewel Eagle, Jewel Shark, and Jewel Lion, they represent the live men. They're the same colors and same animals. And also the Gokaigers make an appearance in a 2-parter in Zyuohger, which was pretty good and well done. But also since Gokaiger came out, we've been getting returns movies, first with Hurricaneger, and then I think Deca Ranger came after that, and Go-Ranger after that, which are also really good celebrations of their seasons, and really well, especially to see the teams back together again. But really it was just leading up to the 45th series, which is when I think some of the problems started to show up. So that leads into Zenkaiger, started airing in March of 2021, the first season I saw live. I didn't watch Gokaiger airing, I had only watched it a couple months before Zenkaiger started airing, so it wasn't like I was waiting a long time for a new anniversary thing. But I was still very curious to see how they would one-up Gokaiger, and I think that's kind of where I made my mistake. I shouldn't have thought that anything would be better than Gokaiger. Just looking in at Zenkaiger, it looked like it was going to go all in on anniversary stuff. Like you got Zenkaiser's suit based off of Aka Ranger from Go Ranger, and you got all the other Zenkaigers based off past mecha. So I really thought that this would be another pretty good celebration of Sentai as a whole. Obviously, I didn't think it was going to be as good as Gokaiger, but I didn't expect it to be as superfluous as it was, because you could take out the anniversary aspect of Zenkaiger and it wouldn't change anything. The Sentai gears are really lame gimmicks, just kind of lamer versions of Gokai changes. You just get their powers, except not the suits. A couple of unique uses of it, but really it was only the Jetman gear that was cool. And a lot of the time it just felt like marketing. It didn't really feel like the show itself did have a certain feel that I think harkened back to like Car Ranger. So in a sense it does celebrate the more goofier seasons of Sentai, but I still feel like the anniversary aspect was really fumbled. Didn't really have anything to do with the season at all, even though they set up that all the Sentai worlds had already been kidnapped or just being held. They weren't used at all. All the monsters of the week were just random other worlds instead of using the Sentai worlds, which didn't make any sense to me. So I really didn't like Zenkaiger when it was airing. I thought it was just a really big letdown as an anniversary season. Since rewatching, I think it's a really fun season. It's a pretty good season, but still I feel like the anniversary aspect of the season was fumbled really bad. It felt way more as just marketing, which they always are, but Gokaiger definitely set the trend of it feeling more than just being a marketing gimmick. It felt like they actually cared about the past and stuff, whereas Zenkaiger, they had a story and then they just put a anniversary skin over it, and that's kind of what happened. So near when Zenkaiger was over, we were getting a rumor about Dawn Brothers being a sequel to Zenkaiger, which I was really reluctant about, especially because the 45th season was going to be over and we're bringing more anniversary stuff in the 46th. The rumor ended up being mostly misleading. Like, you have Kaito coming back as a different version of Zenkaiser, but other than that, there really is zero connection between the two shows. But what they did have was anniversary elements for absolutely no reason. You had Don Momotaro's alter forms was based off of past seasons, which, yeah, it's marketing. It's definitely just cynical marketing at this point. You have Gokai changes, which have no purpose in the show at all, and they just forget about them by like episode 25. And not to mention the Hitotsuki, the Monsters of the Week, the base of past Sentai for no reason. Why didn't they have this in the season before? Why did they have it in this season? It makes absolutely no sense here. Really, it's the Gokai changes that really did it for me. You're straight up just copying something that Gokaiger did. And that didn't really stop me from enjoying Dawn Brothers. It's one of my favorite seasons, but it's always kind of been like a looming shadow over the season that I've always had. Like, why are this really weird anniversary marketing stuff in a season that really didn't need it? So this is really where like the Dark Age starts. So when King Oger started 1 year later, there were rumors that we were going to get the Kyoryugers to appear in the show, or at least get their own movie, which I was really hesitant about. King Oger was completely distanced itself from most other Sentai. It had a completely unique feel as serialized, and it happened on a completely different planet. But then they still decide to have the Kyoryugers cross over with them in the show itself. They connected the mythologies well, but it still felt really intrusive. It happened in a pretty important part of the story, took up 2 episodes, and the worst part is that they introduced a new character, Prince, who is just the absolute worst character ever. He's so annoying, it just takes up time from the other Kyoryugers. Not to mention he reappears in further episodes of King Oger, which sucks. But I think the worst part was that the Kyoryugers didn't even get their own Returns movie. They had to share it with the King Ogers, who admittedly aren't a very big part of that movie, but still, it takes time away from the cast themselves. Add in Prince, who is one of the worst characters in that movie, ended up being not that good. So I just feel like here it felt really intrusive. In a season that absolutely did not need any sort of crossover. I like that the Kyoryugers got a return movie, because I really like the Kyoryugers, but I wish it had no connection to King Oger at all. And jamming it into the season itself really, really sucked, and was continuing of like bad will for anniversary stuff that I've been getting up to this point. So next year with Boom Boomger, there were rumors of other Sentai coming in. We knew for sure it was the Go-Ongers, the Tokyugers, and later the Gokaigers. And this was especially really frustrating to me. The 50th year was only 1 year after that, so you couldn't just wait a year. They are incredibly small portion of Boom Boomger. You could cut them out and nothing would change. But they still felt incredibly intrusive. You have Sosuke appear early in the season. I hadn't seen him around 5 years since the Returns movie. He's one of my favorite Rangers, but still in a useless filler episode. Then later you get Akira and Right come back from Tokyuger. Akira in person, right? Mostly voiceover, but comes back in like the last 2 seconds. And this is really one that's a lot more annoying. Genbo is going through his arc, so it's cool that he and Akira got a moment together, but still felt intrusive in a pretty important part of the season. Not to mention Wright was barely in it. It was mostly just a suit. And we really didn't know what these were for until the last lap was revealed. And then we got confirmation that It was for the Robo Universe toy line, which I kind of expected. Obviously, I didn't understand why any of these are showing up, but it's pretty obvious it was just for toys. And then Joe from Gokaiger appears around episode 40 in another pretty important episode with Shachiro leaving. And this is kind of where it's just cynical marketing. This is the absolute worst anniversary stuff that I can think of. It's just for the toy line, which, yeah, that's all that Tokusatsu's for. But there's no tact, there's no respectfulness. They're just using it to sell the toys in a season that has nothing to do with it. It honestly would have been pretty cool if you just waited a year to this new Robo Universe line during the 50th anniversary. So here, this is really where it was, I really lost all faith in it. And then we had another anniversary season coming up with Gojuger. So that brings us to the present day with Gojuger, which as of I'm recording this is 24 episodes in. Before the premiere aired, I was cautiously optimistic. Obviously, with how I've been burned with anniversary stuff recently, I was very, very worried that this would just be like another marketing gimmick. But I was still excited because Senkaiger was a very underwhelming anniversary for me. So I was still excited to see what they would do. I was not won over when I was revealed they were doing Gokai changes again, but at least it's different where they still have their suits. And then the season aired and we got real confirmation with the gimmick with the Universe Warriors, which in concept is a really good idea, a lot like AR Riders from Decade. But here you could have past Sentai actors returning to be the Universe Warriors. And here I was really hoping there would be more of a rotating cast. I wasn't expecting every single Ranger up to that point to get a Universe Warrior, but maybe a couple that would rotate in and out every 5 or 6 episodes maybe. But for the most part, as we have now, they're pretty much just glorified civilians of the week. We have a couple of returning Sentai actors, but for the most part, they're just Toku actors in general, which is cool. I remember a lot of these people, but a lot of them are from Ultraman, which I've never seen, so I have no connection to them. They're just random people to me. Add into that they're mostly just civilians of the week is pretty lame. Not to mention with the season as a whole, it definitely feels a lot like Zenkaiger, where the anniversary aspect is just a skin over a predetermined story. It's not really built into it, even though there is really interesting stuff with the mecha battle from the past and stuff. As of now, none of that's been explained at all. You could take out the anniversary aspect of the season and it wouldn't change a single bit. You could replace the Universe Warriors with original suits and it wouldn't change it at all, which really sucks. Gojuger is one of my least favorite seasons in a very long while. And it isn't just the anniversary aspect, I just think the show as a whole is not very good. But just the cynicism of the anniversary aspect definitely is hindering it for me, especially when they mess around with the numbering, with making a Lupin Ranger, Powder Ranger 2 separate numbered teams to make this the 50th team when it should have just been to celebrate 50 years since Go Ranger. That's really what should have set me off. This isn't going to be anything good. So as of now, Gojuger can be fun, and its only problem isn't the anniversary aspect, but it's definitely not one of the solutions. It's definitely one of the problems, and I pretty much have no faith in anniversary stuff from here on out, and especially because next year will be the actual 50th series. I wouldn't hold it behind Toei to do more anniversary stuff, which I'm expecting now. It's really disheartening when they take something that was extremely special in Gokaiger and treated it with such respect, and now it's just another way for them to sell toys. So that sucks. So in conclusion, I'm just frustrated at how Super Sentai has been oversaturating something that should be incredibly special, especially for me, where growing up, all my favorite episodes of Power Rangers was when they would cross over, and anniversary stuff has been shoved down our throats so much in recent years in Sentai, even in seasons where it doesn't belong. It just makes it not special anymore. It's so obvious that it's just a marketing gimmick. I mean, it obviously works because they keep on doing it, but still, for someone like me who doesn't care about the toys or anything like that, it's just really cynical, and it really has hindered my enjoyment of Sentai in recent years. Not entirely. I still really like Sentai. I still watch it every single week. It's still one of my favorite shows of all time, but the anniversary pandering is certainly the biggest problem with it now. It just made something that I looked forward to ever since Gokaiger ended. I look forward to seeing what new anniversary thing they could do, but really since Zenkaiger, it's been shoved down our throats nonstop. So it just took something that I was incredibly excited about, something that could hook me on a season just by the fact that it was anniversary, and now it does the opposite effect. I'm just apathetic towards any season that does this. Really, any anniversary season after this, it's gonna take a lot for me to enjoy it after what's happening with recent seasons, especially Gojuger. It just sucks. Turned something incredibly special and just made it not special anymore. thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. This is something that I've been thinking about pretty much ever since Down Brothers started with the Gokai changes and stuff, and kind of just came to a boiling point with how Gojuju has been. Not only not a great anniversary season, but also not a great season in general. So as for my next video, I'm really feeling up to doing another filler episode video, so that'll probably be next. That or ranking tertiary Kamen Riders, probably not. I think I'm going to take a little break from Kamen Rider videos just because they don't do well. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Feedback is always appreciated. Have a great day.